Hello and welcome to Nationwide on the NTA. I am Ifoma Ojinta. And do remember that you can follow this news broadcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and our other social media handles displayed on the screen for updates. As a country richly endowed with natural resources and hardworking people, Nigeria has no reason to be in a poor state. But be that as the reality, President Bola Tinubu says he's ready to reverse the trend and build a better Nigeria. The president today received a delegation of leaders from Rivers State at the State House.
We have to make what appeared difficult very easy and achieve possibilities within a very short period of time. Our people are expecting a lot from us. How much longer is lamentation possible? I'm not the president that will give excuses. I want to work hard for our nation. A nation united by a single purpose, development. Focused, determined, make wealth, prosperity a target for all. We have no reasons to be poor. We don't. And I'm assuring you that we're not going to look back, but we will continue to look forward.
Director General, National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, Mustafa Habib Ahmed says the agency will continue to adopt strategies for critical disaster management to ensure efficient service delivery. The DG NEMA said this at a capacity training for NEMA staff and that of state emergency management agencies for effective 2023 flood intervention. Correspondent Ilyas Yakubu reports.
The training is part of sustained efforts by NEMA to reposition the agency towards efficient delivery of its mandate in timely coordination and management of disasters in the country. The NEMA boss said the training is designed to strengthen the capacity of NEMA and SEMA officials in humanitarian coordination mechanisms, disaster management cycle, and institutional capacity, resource mobilization, search and rescue, disaster preparedness, risk management, as well as early warning systems, among others. He said the training of personnel is a critical component for effective and efficient disaster management. He added that NEMA will continue to explore avenues to develop the capacity of its staff and stakeholders to ensure that all the principles and practices of disaster management are institutionalized.
So it's very, very important that you get the state and build the capacity of the local government, build the capacity of the community. Then you're building strong resilience in all the states and the local government.
Is our commitment to ensure that the leadership and ownership of local authorities to manage disaster events and to be the leaders in overcoming and helping the people in the impact of disasters.
The participant promised to make judicious use of the training for effective intervention. This training is one out of the many trainings organized by the agency for effective mitigation. It was organized in collaboration with UN Archer and support from UNICEF and International Federation of Red Cross. In Abuja, Ilyas Yakubu, NTA News.
Excessive water in Kogi State has evolved into both a burden and looming threats to lives and property. Nevertheless, through meticulous planning and strong political determination, it possesses the potential to transform into a driving force for agricultural and industrial growth within the state. Jonathan Omajali elaborates on this opportunity.
Life gives you lemon, make lemonade is a proverbial phrase used to encourage optimism and a positive can-do attitude in the face of adversity or misfortune. The misfortune occasioned by excess water in Kogi State can actually become a blessing rather than a curse. Professor Salihu Musa, an environmentalist and lecturer at the Federal University Lokoja, believes the state can become more agriculturally viable if the government decides to collect the excess water and use them for irrigation and other domestic purposes. This, he said, can be achieved through dredging of the river Niger.
This flood is like a wastage because it's like we are wasting water, because this water can be harvested and used for other purposes, more beneficial purposes, okay? When the rains are down, we can use them for irrigation, we can use them for industrial purposes, we can use them even for domestic purposes. So if government is interested in doing this, they can construct buffer dams. Okay, these dams will help to collect some of the water, the excess water, so that it will reduce water that is flowing into the channel. So if we have water in these dams, areas around this dam can now be put to use agriculturally, industrially, and otherwise.
The fear of another flood in the state recently heightened after the Cameroonian government announced its plans to open up the Ladgo Dam. In Lokoja, Jonathan Omajali, NTA.
Search for Common Ground, a non-governmental organization, is canvassing the use of artificial intelligence digital tools to mitigate conflict-sensitive narratives on online spaces. The organization, which seeks to transform the way the world deals with conflict through cooperative solutions, say the new chatbots will help mitigate conflict management issues and address the problem of fake news.
We believe that relationships are key to peace because conflict is inevitable. So we envision a world where, though conflict is inevitable, violence would not be the option. We envision a world where communities are healthy, safe, and just.
We are trying to sanitize that online space for people to find online space friendly enough, and then to be able to do their commenting or carry conversation in a very healthy and very civil, way.
The organization deals with conflict-prone communities in areas of agro-pastoral tensions, armed conflict in the northeast, religious crisis, disarmament, reintegration and reconciliation programs of government and civil society groups. Any attempts by unscrupulous elements to sabotage the economic revival currently being witnessed by the country will be confronted with stiff opposition. Francis Form reports that Acting IGP Kayode Egbetokun gave the warning at a meeting with strategic police managers.
This is the Acting IGP's meeting with strategic police managers, and the agenda is to review the internal security situation in the country, enumerating operational plans towards placing the off-season governorship elections in Kogi, Imo and Bayelsa states in November 11th.
Nobody should have any fear about how safe or how secure these elections are going to be in November. Just 3 states, it's very convenient for us to deploy.
In furtherance of the force resolve to ensure that all forms of violent crimes in the country are confronted head-on, a team of instructors from the force training institutions have been selected to embark on specialized training in abroad.
An initiative aimed at equipping our personnel with advanced skills and techniques for handling complex security challenges across the country.
Another feat recorded in the fight against car theft is the automation of the Central Motor Registry, and this, Acting IGP Egbetokun said, has revolutionized the force response to the challenge of stolen vehicles in the country. Also, the force has led a well-coordinated intelligence that resulted in the arrest of 10 notorious cyber criminals and have since been charged to court. Deployment of technology for the Safe School initiative is also expected to commence. This, the acting IGP said, will boost the operational activities of the School Protection Squad. Meanwhile, the acting IGP warns that the killers of Ahoda DPO will be dealt with severely. Francis from NTA News.
Still talking security, on the 4th of July last year, some insurgents attacked the Kuje Medium Security Correctional Facility in Abuja, freeing 879 of the inmates. Due to these and other recent jailbreaks across the country, security experts and some Nigerians are reappraising its implications on public safety and forensic measures to rearrest them. Olabode Arewa reports.
32-year-old Yusuf Issa, a suspect, was recently arrested, being a member of a 7-man gang involved in an attack on clergyman Apostle Johnson Suleiman's convoy on October 21, 2022 in Edo State, where 6 people were killed.
I'm the first person that opened fire on the convoy of Apostle Johnson Suleiman.
An ex-convict, he was released in 2021 from Olokuta Correctional Center, Ondo State, where he had been on remand for alleged involvement in kidnapping and armed robbery. Records from the Nigeria Correctional Service showed that more than 5,000 inmates have been involved in jailbreaks in Nigeria since 2020. However, no fewer than 422 escaped inmates from the Kuje Medium Custodial Facility, Abuja, during the June 5, 2022 jailbreak are yet to be recaptured. It is however cheering news that some of the escapees, Adamu and Atiku Ibrahim from the Kuje Correctional Center, were arrested in Adamawa State, haven't been on the run for several months. Many Nigerians are apprehensive of the criminal activities of these escapees.
There need to be modern technology put in all these prison facilities or correctional facilities as we refer to them now.
People that have committed crime that is worthy of detention their fingerprints must be taken, their pictures must be taken, and some investigation should also be stepped up, ensuring that there's publicity as to who has been arrested and for what offense.
Analysts also want more efficiency in the process of arresting, investigating, interrogating, remand, and trial of suspects, while they say it is incumbent on the public to regularly provide actionable security information to work on. Olabode Arewa, NTA News.
Members of the broadcasting organizations of Nigeria have been conducted round media facilities in Milan, Italy. The facility tour for media executives from Nigeria is part of the scheduled activities for the Emerging Technologies in Radio, TV Broadcasting Seminar co-organized by El Kepmos Technologies and holding in Italy. The visit to Italian League International Broadcast Center afforded the Nigerian participants and others the opportunity to familiarize themselves with the Serie A match broadcast processes, exposing them to signal distributions, video-assisted referee, and VAR operations.
Do a vibration and write goal, goal, goal. Okay. And even on the earpiece, there is a goal, goal, goal. In order to, not only the referee, but even the normally there are 4 referees at the pitch, 2 on the lines, referee and the 4 men match commissioner.
Axel Technologies, Italy is one of the facilitators of the training. We now join Lagos, where Hingido is standing by with more stories.
Thank you, Ifoma. Good news for the education sector. 75% of distressed projects in beneficiary tertiary institutions of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund will be completed before the end of next year. This was made known by the Executive Secretary of TED Fund, Sonny Echono, at a two-day workshop for heads of institutions and desk officers in the Southwest. Our correspondent reports that the program, organized by TED Fund, has improving TED Fund intervention programs and processes in tertiary institutions as its theme.
Once your submission is not in line with that format,
a good avenue for TED Fund, heads of beneficiary tertiary institutions and desk officers to discuss issues affecting their schools as well as the fund's intervention lines.
While utilizing such intervention lines for other programs,
TED Fund has taken proactive steps to address issues related to distress projects across institutions by revisiting its audit processes and implementing a robust monitoring and evaluation policy.
for many of them, the majority of them, there are minor issues that are contractual and have to do with issues of maybe one particular element or a small, though sometimes almost insignificant but important element that have delayed their completion. Others have to do with the performance of contractors.
The beneficiaries believe the program will improve their skills, especially conception, reconciliation, and implementation of the fund's programs and processes.
All our desk officers will be able to do the right thing, not to assess the fund at the right time and execute the program as appropriate.
With this new policy, is this assurance that when you assume office as a head of institution, you can actually continue what your predecessor had started.
The workshop is expected to equip heads of beneficiary tertiary institutions as well as desk officers with more knowledge about the operational guidelines of the fund, which will help to eliminate the problem of distress projects in their various institutions. The ECOWAS Commission and its member countries have succeeded in mobilizing a total amount of $42.55 million to finance studies for the Abuja-Lagos Corridor Highway Development Project. They have also set the end of 2023 as deadline for the completion of the project. This was stated at the Special Development Initiative Workshop in Lagos to enable the Commission identify projects along the corridor beneficial to member countries. Amaka Owo reports.
The Abuja-Lagos Corridor Highway Development Project was approved by heads of state of member countries in 2013, in line with the 2050 ECOWAS vision that seeks to enhance infrastructure development, economic growth, free movement of people within the region, and also to foster the African Continental Free Trade Area Agreement.
I think the next on the agenda is
this partial development initiative workshop is a component of the design stage of the project.
The spatial development is to identify projects along the corridor that is beneficial to the citizenry along the corridor that cuts across agriculture, health, infrastructure, then come up with a very comprehensive list of this project.
The ECOWAS Commission and member states, which constitute 5 countries, which are Côte d'Ivoire, Ghana, Togo, Benin, and Nigeria, have mobilized a total of $42.55 million in form of grants and loans from the African Development Bank and the European Union to finance studies for the Abidjan-Lagos Corridor Highway project.
We had to go through the process of getting a treaty signed by the member countries. The treaty allows each country to participate in the project and also allows the laws of the corridor to transcend above the laws of the countries so that they can have a homogeneous movement across the corridor.
The Abidjan Corridor Highway crosses areas with high economic potential, representing about 75% of the volume of trade in Africa. The Abidjan-Lagos Corridor Highway is a 1,028 kilometers road and it has 8 border crossings. In Lagos, Amaka Owo, NTA News.
Be reminded that you can follow this news podcast live on our website at nta.ng/live and on our other social media handles displayed on your screen for updates. Salamatu in Kaduna Network Center is standing by after this break.
To have you join us here in Kaduna. Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa has given a warning to criminals, bandits and other non-state actors to desist from their nefarious activities or face the wrath of the Nigerian Armed Forces. Chief of Defense Staff stated this after presenting a lecture on Nigeria's security and defense policies, My Leadership Concept for the Armed Forces, to Senior Course 46 of the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jaji. Let's hear more from Dauda Muhammad.
Contemporary security challenges in various parts of the country has necessitated innovative solutions and concepts in tackling these current complex breaches. For participants of Senior Course 46 of the Armed Forces Command and Staff College, Jaji, undergoing a one-year intensive military training, this is to better prepare them for future command positions. The lecture, presented by the Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa, on Nigeria's security and defense policy, examined and analyzed documents on national security strategy, national military strategy, security and defense policy instruments on Nigerian security architecture.
Now our operations are going to be joint. So everybody has a role to play, both the citizens we are protecting and members of the armed forces and the paramilitary. I want to assure Nigerians that the challenges we are facing are surmountable, and the armed forces of Nigeria is ready and willing to achieve success together as a team.
The lecture is part of activities and training for participants of Senior Course 46 as prerequisite for advancement to command positions in their various armed forces. Dauda Mohammed, NTA News.
About 300 livestock farmers benefited from animal feed palliative to cushion the effect of 2022 flood that affected their animals in Jigawa State. Ibrahim Bello reported that the beneficiaries were drawn from flood-affected areas in the state. The report.
For the first time, the federal government is including livestock farmers affected by flood and the distribution of palliative in Jigawa State under the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, Department of Animal Husbandry, flagging off the distribution in the presence of representatives of Ministry of Agriculture at national and state level, and Hadas, Jigawa State Coordinator of the Ministry, Saleh Salisu and other stakeholders said each livestock farmer will be given 3 bags of feed and 1 block of animal salt. They stated that the palliative is meant to cushion the effect of the flood as well as improve animals' health through quality feed.
During the flood, a lot of herders has lost their properties by the animals getting drowned, or sometimes even get lost, and then ultimately you find them in the water. So that's why the federal government decided to give them some palliatives, just for them to know that there is concern for them.
It's actually based on the list given from the state. Based on needs assessment, we look at each state. What are the peculiarities of each state? Jigawa, as we know, has a lot of livestock. And livestock, as we know, is a very good resource.
The beneficiaries and leadership of the livestock farmers commended the gesture.
There have been a lot of intervention without considering herders, and this is a good initiative.
The palliative will go a long way in assisting us.
They call for more recognition of livestock farmers in all activities of the ministry. In Dutse, Ibrahim Bello, NTA News.
And that completes our package. From here, let's rejoin Ifoma again in our Abuja studio. Good evening.
Many thanks, Salabatu. Now, the Transmission Company of Nigeria, TCN, says it has commenced grid restoration nationwide, with power supply now available in the west, north, central, southeast, and a large portion of the northern parts of the country. This follows total grid collapse that occurred at 12:35 a.m. of Thursday, causing outage nationwide after more than 421 days of consistent grid stability. In a statement, TCN says the collapse, which occurred after a fire incident on Kanji-Jeba 330 kVA line 2, is being investigated with a view to forestall future occurrence and strengthen the grid. The last total system collapse recorded was on 20th July 2022. From then to the 13th of September 2023, the system had been stable in spite of the challenges posed by zero spinning reserve and lack of adequate system control and data acquisition, essential to a strong and stable grid, among others. A 15-man planning committee for Nigeria's 63rd independence anniversary has been inaugurated. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, who inaugurated the committee, expressed confidence in the personality of members to deliver on their mandates.
It's expedient to note that time is of essence regarding the preparation of the 63rd Independence Anniversary celebration. The proposed activities for the celebration would be subject to finalization by the Interministerial Committee and would involve the following to be anchored by subcommittees. The terms of reference of each subcommittee and list of membership will be sent by the Secretariat, while subcommittee secretaries will present their budgets for consideration and approval.
The members of the Planning Committee include Ministers of Information and National Orientation, Interior, Finance, Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Foreign Affairs, and the FCT. Meanwhile, the activities lined up for the anniversary will kickstart with a world press briefing on the 25th of September and ends with a parade on the 2nd of October 2023. A global initiative, Peace, Progress and Unity, under the platform of the governing All Progressives Congress, has launched a leadership and mentorship forum to groom Nigerians on citizens' role in achieving excellence in modern governance. The forum, which is aimed at fostering inclusivity and deepening participation in politics, inaugurated its members to spread the message of the renewed hope mantra and appreciates the President Tinubu's choice of ministers, especially that of the FCT, saying it has silenced doubting Thomases.
PPU is a place where real leaders are made. It's a place where we learn, where we unlearn and we relearn. It's a place where we turn potentials into prosperity. We don't make you feel important here. We help everyone around us understand how important they are.
Prayer and understanding. Anybody that is in the power needs prayer. Because I know this is why I am. I know how it touches me. So let's pray for the present people in power. As we are praying for them, God will lead them through.
Progress and Unity Forum is also involved actively in the promotion of special harmony, economic prosperity and political stability of the country, and appeal to all and sundry to embrace love and preach peace for the development of the country. Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Folashade Yemi-Eson, says the computer-based test CBT confirmation and promotion examination being conducted for civil servants is part of the ongoing digitization reforms in the Federal Civil Service Strategy and Implementation Plan. She said this while inspecting some of the COMPRO examination centers in Abuja. Haman Jabani reports.
The base test COMPRO examination, which is the first being held for junior officers of the Federal Public Service, has 9,300 candidates across the country. The exercise is part of the Walking the Talk on the ongoing digitization drive of the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation towards improving service delivery to the citizens.
A highly rated examination that is not that you don't have any human influence, which is what you are you wrote that is being marked. And before you say Jack Robinson, the result is out. And there is no way anybody can manipulate it. Even after the result gets out, even the process of transmitting to the MDAs is also going digital.
Director, Learning and Development Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation, Atabo Adamu, says that some of the challenges encountered last year have been addressed through the upgrade of the portal system and the introduction of electronic devices. 1,600 candidates are sitting for the exam in 4 centers in Abuja. Hamad Jabani, NTA News.
Civil society organizations have gathered in Abuja to evaluate the implementation of the child rights law in Nigeria. The advocacy is designed to evaluate the implementation bottlenecks hampering the child rights law in 5 states, serves as litmus test to its smooth operation in Nigeria. The gathering of these key players in judicial matters focuses on how best to address child offenders and other related issues.
It breaks my heart to see young juvenile offenders tied in with adult offenders. You see, these children are very, very impressionable. And when you put them together with adult offenders, they tend to teach them what they call the tricks of their trade. They teach them how to become hardened criminals.
The goal of the project is to strengthen the management, financial, and advocacy capacity of civil society organizations in Nigeria.
With 5 pilot states of Benue, Kogi, Kwara, Nasarawa and Plateau, the organizers believe that more commitment from stakeholders will tackle identifiable challenges and thus prioritize the rights of the Nigerian child.
So this is a platform to enable us to assess how far we have gone. Have there been gaps? Let's identify those gaps and see how we can provide solutions, how we can move forward.
The group is hopeful that the outcome of the gathering will be replicated in other states of the country. Zamfara State Government has lifted the embargo on the operation of civil society organizations put by the immediate past administration in the state. The State Commissioner of Budget and Planning, Abdul Malik Abubakar Gajam, said this during a visit to the State Coalition of Non-Governmental Organizations Center. Gusau Jabilu Ibrahim has more.
It will be recalled that the immediate past administration in Zamfara State had in February last year put a ban on the operations of local and international civil society organizations in the state. The measure was ostensibly taken for security reasons, and that most of the NGOs were not duly registered by the appropriate authorities. With the inception of the current leadership of Governor Dr. Lawal, such decision has been, however, eventually overturned by the state government. Zamfara State Commissioner for Budget and Economic Planning, Abdul Malik Abubakar Gajam, announced this while on an official visit to the state office of the Coalition of Non-Governmental Organizations.
As a state that is virgin, that is growing, we still are a virgin state, Zamfara State. So we need all these development partners and our local NGOs to come together so we can rub our minds together and help the state move forward.
The chairman of the State Coalition of Non-Governmental Organizations, Ibrahim Tudu, described the commissioner's visit as a dawn of a new era in the operation of NGOs in the state.
The NGOs are going to work hand in hand with the Zamfara State government. We have capacity in almost every area.
The State Commissioner of Budget and Economic Planning's visit to the State Coalition of Civil Society Organization Center was attended by the officials of various NGOs in Zamfara State. In Gusau, Jamilu Ibrahim, NTA News.
The Federal Road Safety Corps says the Corps Marshal Dauda Alibiu has noticed the circulation of a wrongly couched memo regarding a directive to put an end to placing of patrol operatives in offenders' vehicle in the course of impoundment. A statement by the Corps Public Education Officer BC Kazim says the FRSC regrets the earlier directive and wishes to state that the Corps Marshal's order correcting the earlier directive to reiterate the ban on placing of staff in offenders' vehicle for escort due to impoundment by patrol teams under any guise of traffic infraction committed. Assessing public structures in Nigeria, which poses significant challenges for people with disabilities, is soon to become a thing of the past. This development comes as a result of ratification of the Accessibility Standard Code 2023 in Lokoja by board members of the disability community in Kogi. The objective is to ensure inclusiveness for all, aligning with global best practices. Solomon Ayedein reports.
State Accessibility Standard Code of 2023 is intended to facilitate the implementation of the law protecting the rights of persons with disabilities, which was signed by the state government in 2021.
This document today will benefit the old age, pregnant woman, children, people that live in upstairs that needed to carry heavy load.
The gathering of board members from people with disabilities and officials of the National Association of Persons with Physical Disabilities in Lokoja, Kogi State aims to approve the Accessibility Standard Code to ensure the rights of the disability community in alignment with global best practices.
This document is to guide policymakers to create an enabling environment for persons with disability.
With this code, you have the accurate measurement for ramp, accurate measurement for doors.
It will help all persons with disability to navigate building and built environment.
This document going forward now will serve as our operational guard to put in check all public buildings that discriminate against persons with disability in Kogi State.
So when that document is available to the ministry, I think we'll be able to do our best to ensure that there's adequate compliance.
Kogi State is the first in the country to develop and embrace the Accessibility Standard Code. In Lokoja, Solomon Ayedehin, NTA News.
And Fatima will now bring us more stories from our Makurdi Network Center. Hello, Fatima.
And thanks for joining us in Makurdi. The Benue State Governor, Hyacinth Alia, has urged members of his cabinet to evolve ways of improving the welfare and livelihood of the citizenry. Governor Alia said this during a meeting with the State Executive Council members at Government House, Makurdi. Elias Itiaf reports.
End of the inaugural State Executive Council meeting, Deputy Governor Sam Ode said members were received and furnished with the blueprint of the present administration for them to be abreast with the policy document on the intentions of Governor Hyacinth Alia's agenda for the state.
Council members are stepping into the chambers for the first time. Commissioners who were appointed, who were sworn in, received into the Executive Council chambers by the governor of the state, and we have been able to brief them about the vision of the state. We have circulated documents, especially the blueprints of the administration, for them to acclimatize with the issues, with the agenda of the government.
The deputy governor added that members were also intimated on their retreat, which is intended to equip them for the task of governance in the state. In Makurdi, Elias Itiaf, NTA.
As a deliberate measure to check illegal roadblocks and its associated consequences, the task force mandated with the responsibility has arrested 5 suspects in connection with the act. Chairman of the task force, Jeffrey Yohe, will let the clamp-down operation emphasize that they will not relent until the trend is brought to an end. Elias Itiaf again completes the report.
Of the task force on illegal roadblocks by the Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia, the committee has spared no efforts in living up to its mandate. The latest is a clampdown and arrest of 5 suspects along the Igbo-Wanune Road or in local government area of Benue State for illegal roadblocks and extortion of motorists and traders.
You take the name of this place. They are calling your name. Akulaki. You are a criminal.
At the Chogunda Msa inspection point of the Benue State Internal Revenue Service in a Shongo local government area, the task force could not hide their displeasure over the perceived irregularities and fraudulent practices by the staff of the BIRS. Chairman of the task force, Jeffrey Yohe, described the development as unacceptable and that the committee will compile and present a comprehensive report to the governor for necessary action.
A situation where
You have a lot of illegal roadblocks, extorting money from motorists, dehumanizing them, committing a lot of illegalities is unacceptable. The governor has said it very clearly, and that was why he enthroned these task forces to ensure that we stamp out this activity.
The suspects who are under police custody are to be charged to court for prosecution. In Makudi, Elias, ATF, NTA News.
And that's it from Makudi. Nationwide continues in Port Harcourt with Gabriel after this break.